Welcome to ForceFed, the show where we're going to talk about all things Star Wars. I'm Steve Zaragoza.
Hey, I'm Maude. We are the biggest Star Wars fans here at SourceFed, so we decided to go see the movie early so that we can give you a breakdown of the Force Awakens trailer.
Yeah.
We have been waiting half our lives.
Well, you said trailer.
I mean, movie.
The whole film.
Yeah. Oh, wow. How many times did I watch the trailer? I've been talking about Star Wars trailers for a year. Now I got to see the fucking movie!
Yeah, we both saw the film, and so what this video is basically a completely spoiler-filled version of our review of the film. We're going to get into the details. We're going to talk about who, what, when, where, why, the big spoilers.
What our issues were.
Everything.
Because there were some issues. It wasn't a perfect movie, and we'll explain in detail why we think that was. So let's kick it all off.
Well, before we kick it all off, know that we did do a video yesterday that you can watch here if you still haven't seen the movie and are scared of spoilers, and I hope it's a safe place for you to go and check it out. Just if you're on the fence about is it a good movie or not, you don't know who to ask, and you're scared to go into the deep internet to find out. So here's a link to that video if you want to see that.
Spoiler-free, completely. We don't even rate the movie.
Right.
And guys, we really hope that you are good Star Wars fans and good people. Don't write any spoilers in the movie, but oh no, they can.
Yeah, this is now an open zone.
Oh, you can say Han dies all you like.
Yeah, talk about all you want in the comments section, anything you want. It's all up to you. So okay, so let's delve right into the movie. Let's start from the beginning.
Let's talk about the storyline.
Okay, let's talk about the storyline.
Cool. I think it's, I appreciate what they're trying to do. In the previous video, I mentioned how that this is quite a safe storyline, and I do completely feel that. They need to get a lot done in this movie. They needed to catch the audience up the last 30 years and where it's at now, because there's been a huge political shift in where things are going. There's new leaders, there's new villains, there's new faces, there's new things happening, and there's a lot of old things happening as well. But I feel that this storyline is literally a New Hope 2.0.
It is. It's kind of just like a New Hope remastered.
It is. It's an old Hope made new again.
But like in a good way though. Like I don't feel like they literally ripped off A New Hope. I just feel like it definitely has kind of like the story. It's almost like there's two movies happening at once. There's the story of a scavenger who is stranded on a planet waiting for her family to come back for her.
Yes.
And then there's the story of this kind of reluctant stormtrooper who is sick of his job. He's not into the murdering thing. He's not into the evil stuff, and he wants to get the hell out of the First Order.
So of course he uses a captured pilot. Now I kind of wish Poe Dameron was more in that the core, but it really is with just Rey and Finn.
Yeah, I mean, the more that I think about it, and I've only seen it once. This is just my current opinion, which might change later. But the more that I think about it, the more I feel like we didn't need Finn at all.
I wouldn't have been upset if we didn't have Finn. I didn't really understand his character. I have so many great things to say about this movie. I think Daisy Ridley was a treat.
Amazing.
She was
amazing. Yeah.
I think that Oscar Isaac stole every scene that he was in. I just wish he was in it more.
Yeah, well, the film opens, if you've seen it, as you know, with kind of Poe in this like weird, like, he's on Jakku.
You said that it's a new thing, but let's really go frame by frame. You have battle plans that need to be hidden inside a droid because the Empire is looking for them.
Right. I mean,
familiar?
New Hope is the Death Star plans hidden in R2-D2.
Yeah, now it's Luke's location.
And we also have this guy who we don't know who he is.
Max von Sydow.
Max von Sydow, yeah, but we don't know who his character is. We don't know his connection to...
I'm sorry again, but hide! And he's like, I'm going to walk out in the open. It's like,
I mean,
you had one job.
Yeah. I just feel like, aside from the comments we're currently making, I just feel like, they set up Poe as this super awesome character.
And what he did so well was set the tone of the movie.
Yeah, he's funny at first, and there's that. And by the way, we need to talk about that insanely badass moment when Kylo Ren shows up and Force holds a fucking laser blast in midair.
I know. Do you know what? The first sort of 7 minutes of this movie was basically JJ and Disney being like, the prequels, am I right?
Yeah, and also they were saying, you guys want to jizz all over the theater?
Yeah.
You want to spill seed on these seats?
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's give you everything you've ever wanted.
Because by having a funny character, is something that they couldn't do.
No, they
in
couldn't
the
do right.
prequels.
No,
Yeah.
no, because it just ended up being way too out of place and it didn't work.
One
but
of the first things you hear him say, I was just like, there it is.
Yeah.
That's all you needed to do.
Yeah, and it's not over the top, and so you fall in love immediately with
Yes.
Poe Dameron.
And the fact that
you're
BB-8's his little side droid.
Yeah, and
you're just
BB-8 is his
You're
friend.
immediately validated by BB-8.
Yeah, you're
Well,
like, perfect, I'm in.
Yep.
Let me sit back and relax. My heart is no longer coming out of my throat.
Hmm.
But then he disappears for like the entire movie.
a little bit too long. He had a lot of trust in BB-8, and it was kind
Yeah.
of cute that BB automatically kind of warmed to Rey, and she kind of took her on because
Yeah, I
she's
found that adorable.
extremely lonely, and I get that.
And it also seems like BB-8 is he has a good way of kind of knowing if you're a good person or not. He just has good instincts.
She.
Well, I don't think that's confirmed.
The BB's not boy.
Well, we don't know. We don't know. I've heard.
BB's a girl.
I mean, they said. I mean, I don't know. It's not confirmed, but whatever you want to think. I guess.
Tomato.
But I really it was so disappointed that Poe was just gone.
Okay, so he's one of the best actors in the movie, and he was completely underused.
I mean, but we still have two, and this is the thing I was kind of talking about in the last one. Like, we have this. They're establishing a whole new trilogy. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get 2 more of these.
Yes.
You know, and so it's like, you know, you fall in love with these characters and you want to see more of them, like Phasma, who was only in it for like a whole 10 minutes maybe.
That was heartbreaking.
And you want to see more of these characters,
Yeah.
but it's almost like Disney's like, be patient. We'll probably even make a whole Poe Dameron movie when
Yeah.
we're done with all this. But it's like, you can't do that to us.
There was some
You can't show us
bite-sized
this
moments.
super awesome character
Yeah.
and then give us this like annoyingly anxiety-ridden stormtrooper guy who is just like fumbling through the whole movie.
So I was talking to Steve about this earlier. I think that Rey is pretty much perfect.
She's
think
great.
She's great.
Great.
But then you've got
I wouldn't change a
Finn.
thing about Rey. Well, but we can talk about something in a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Finn thing I'm going to go down now.
Go for it.
All right. So my problem that I had with Finn, I mean, I loved that he was a breath of fresh air. He had that excitement. You know, he had a lot of emotion, and he was
Yes.
kind of not all over the place, but yeah, whoa, go. My issue with him, and I know that his story arc was that he was struggling with telling a lie to Rey straight off the bat, saying
Yes.
that he was in the Resistance when in fact he was the enemy.
And I love Han's like, women know, you know, she'll find out.
Yeah,
you
you're
believe
screwed,
me, you're
dude.
screwed. I love that.
I just think that if he really was snatched at birth and he has been in the First Order his entire life and he's only ever been taught to train and to be a soldier and to be a stormtrooper, I imagine it like if you're a Game of Thrones fan that he's an Unsullied. They do what they are told. They
Yeah,
have
like he's
no
like that
emotion.
guy. Yeah, what's that guy's name in Game of Thrones?
Grey Worm.
Yeah, where he's like, we don't even have names.
That's it.
You're right.
They're pretty much
Yeah.
robotic because
Right.
they have been so kind of like trained and tweaked that he should barely be showing emotion, and he
Right.
should be honestly like on protocol. It should be like boom, and he couldn't help salute and like calling Han Solo, and he's like, don't call me that. He should have had this respect for. You know,
Otherwise, how do you even become, like, do they allow literally anyone to become a stormtrooper? Like this guy was not exhibiting issues of being a reluctant, like, soldier, you know, and
he
even,
had
there was
his
even,
moral compass was being compromised.
right, but there was
he could
even
have
that,
still been a
but yeah, that's
responsive
true,
soldier.
and the moral compass thing could work with a character that Maude wanted to see, and that I didn't even think of, which is actually a brilliant kind of like take on the character, which is, you know, I just think he could have.
He fell out of it so quickly. It's like he escaped and he was just like, whoa!
And suddenly
yes,
he's
I
just
should
another
have.
guy from the galaxy.
That's
like,
it.
you know, I almost,
Not a pre-programmed.
we almost didn't need a guy that was a stormtrooper. Like, it almost sounds like they were all sitting in a room and they were like, okay, how do we get the secret plans to the Starkiller base? You know, is it another R2-D2 situation where the plans are stored away? No, how about this? A stormtrooper goes rogue and becomes a traitor.
But I love that because we've never seen a
that's great.
stormtrooper before. They say
That's
bad
great.
dialogue. They're
Right.
like, you know, but they just know the protocol. I think the other people that you see on the Starkiller base, you've got General Hux, who's just a snooty little sniveling telltale.
Wait, he's just basically Tarkin. He's another Tarkin.
And then you've got Phasma, who is by the book. These people only know
Yeah, Phasma-
rules and structure.
yeah, mhm.
And for him straight away, just to, I don't know. That's my little bone
Well,
to pick. That's my gripe there.
I do want to say this about Finn too, which is I love John Boyega. I think he's an amazing actor. And honestly, I disagree with you on his excitement and kind of demeanor, because I know that you wanted a militaristic soldier-esque
I just wanted
character.
to see a little bit more of an internal battle.
Well, and I think that would have been a better choice, character-wise, for sure. But the fact that we got what we got, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Are you ready for this one? Oh, hell no.
I'm okay with it.
I shot him. Whoa,
I'm okay
did
with
you
it.
See that?
It's not Will Smith in
Independence Day?
Independence Day or Men in Black, where he's like, I make this look good. Like, none of that's happening.
Yeah, that's true.
But I love him as an actor. I thought his moments of comedy were funny. I liked all that stuff. But I just feel like, we even had that moment. Like, if there was ever any doubt for you about, like, sorry about your breasts, but if there was ever any doubt for you, there they are. Okay. Oh, there we go. That's probably what it's meant to look like, and you've been wearing it the wrong way the whole time.
My torsos.
Oh, but you can't bend it. I see.
Yeah.
There was even that moment in the movie that, for you, I wonder how you reacted, where Phasma was talking to the general, what's his name? The guy with the red hair. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and she was like,
Donald Gleason.
They were talking about Dom Hall Gleason. They
Donald.
Whatever. Fuck you.
Say it properly.
Donald.
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 There we go.
Donald.
We're all done for today's first lesson of how you say an Irish
Anyway,
name.
it doesn't matter. So what I'm trying to say is that there was that moment where they were reviewing Finn's file.
Yes. And he'd never stepped out of line before.
He had never stepped out of line. Even his psychological evaluation came up perfect.
Yeah.
So
it's like he was just on Jakku and everyone was slaughtering innocent civilians and he just went, no. And
I mean,
froze.
if we had heard that it was like his first day on the job, or you know what? For 1 second, and then we'll get off of Finn here. For 1 second, I thought when he pulled the helmet off and he was like, "This is a rescue mission," to Poe. I was like, "Oh my God, he works for the resistance. He's with the resistance."
That would have made more sense.
And I was like,
"This
is
really an inside
right?"
guy.
And I was like, Leia sent him, and this is Leia knew to send a guy to become a stormtrooper. This is brilliant. They're so smart. But then it was like, nope, he's just a guy.
He just wanted out.
He's literally a stormtrooper that went on one mission and chickened the fuck out, and there was no indication of him ever turning in his entire stormtrooper career.
One of the weaker backstories of a character. I think everyone, and there's only one other character where I think their backstory is a little weak.
Well, okay, let's end Finn, and you can get to the next character you're talking about. But what I want to say is that it didn't ruin the film for me. The fact that Finn.
No, by no stretch. This is literally us going into the.
It's just us nitpicking.
Yeah.
And honestly, I like Maude's idea of a militaristic guy who kind of.
Because we're not really getting it in Poe. I mean, he steps up when they're, at the resistance base and we're looking at the battle plans and, he kind of turns into more of a military guy
Well, even though it was all to save Rey, which we learned later, but if we had gotten this kind of like hard-edged, conflicted military guy
only knows First Empire order.
So now picture that, and then picture the scenes between Rey and Finn, where Finn is like, where Rey is like, come on, we gotta go, we gotta do this, and he's just like, I gotta get far away from here. The First Order is gonna be on my ass, it would have just been, I don't know. I think it would have worked better. But it doesn't matter.
JJ, next time, call me.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right, can we talk about Rey for a second?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
can we just seriously?
Yes. So let's take our characters we didn't really like, and then butter it, and then cover that up right away with characters we did like.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Poe Dameron was one of the best things about this
Poe's
movie.
amazing. Although the one thing, so I have only small things to say, sort of negative things to say about Poe and Rey. First, my thing with Rey was. And I guess it's like this in A New Hope, too.
She reminded you of Keira Knightley.
No, fuck that. That's fine. I don't give a shit. The thing that kind of bugged me about Rey was her, like, force powers that just flicked on like a light switch.
Oh, totally.
Like, wow. and I get that, like, Luke's did, too. Like, Luke grew up all the way to teenagehood on Tatooine.
Luke didn't actually beat Vader nor the Emperor.
Well, but the idea here is that we have a more powerful Jedi than we've ever seen. What the idea is we have one that could be even more powerful than Luke.
Which makes no sense.
Well,
for someone like me, the way that you get into the Jedi Academy is when you are an infant. And they weren't going to take
that's just
Anakin
the
on because
right
he
way.
was 9.
That's just the right way.
This chick is what? 18?
Yeah, well, I mean,
She
again,
never
but Luke too.
ever knew.
Before Luke.
Yeah, but Luke at least had Obi-Wan to give the basics. This
Right,
is a
but-
lightsaber. This is how you use the Force.
Right,
and then Yoda trained him on Dagobah for X amount of days.
True.
She had nothing. No one told her she was Force sensitive.
Yeah.
No one said, you have the ability to manipulate someone's mind,
Yeah.
tap into the Force, and you can get them to do your bidding.
Yeah.
Yet she knew.
Well, all she knew were these myths of the Force.
This is you explaining it.
And all she knew is that the Force might be a thing. And to
Who's
her
telling
and
her? She
to
has
her
no
and
family.
Finn,
She doesn't have
Yeah.
any friends on Jakku.
well, it doesn't matter. On Jakku, she's probably
She's
hearing
been
tales.
completely
She's probably
isolated.
going into bars and hearing tales or whatever, or every kid knows about it or
She
whatever.
gets into a spaceship and knows everything about it, like the hydro propulsion motivator
Well,
or
but
whatever, and she's never
well,
left the planet.
But we do see her digging around in a Star Destroyer.
That's true.
So
She knows the
and
makeup
she's
of
pulling
it.
out the
All right, I'll back up in that.
stuff and selling them. So she she was probably street smart and learned a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to say about the Force stuff is that until she meets Han Solo. And then Han Solo is like, it's all fucking true. The Force is like some magical fucking fairy tale. So she meets Han, and then Han's like, actually, it's real. So that's her first indication that the Force is real.
Yeah.
Then the next thing you know, she's fucking mind tricking people.
Yeah.
And
then
she's
going up
like
against-
pulling lightsabers away from a Jedi that's been training.
Not only training, but training with the dark side. And
Yeah.
the dark side is notoriously more powerful because you draw on emotions like passion, and anger.
Yeah.
And suffering.
Yeah. And I guess that, and look, we're just fucking nerds here. And we're not writers, and we're not fucking experts.
It just seemed
and we're not
little-
historians.
It wasn't super believable.
Well, no, I get why they made these decisions. It's because had you not made these decisions, the movie would have been fucking 4 hours long.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing, but if you want to move a story along, you have to write these shortcuts.
It should have just been more of a fluke.
I
She
mean,
should have been fluking her way around it.
I
you
think
know?
she should have at least been more surprised by it, at the very least. Should she have been fucking surprised? She was not surprised. She was not surprised. She has the Force, she's able to use it, and she fucking gets a stormtrooper to let her out of her prison.
Yeah, but the fact that Kylo Ren's tapped into... He can sense things. He can sense, like, oh, that's Han Solo. He's boarding the ship.
Right, but then he
sense
can't
everything.
sense that he's right fucking behind him when Han goes in to talk to him. Like, he senses him on the planet.
Yeah.
But then he's, like, sneaking around down in this fucking, like, where he ends up killing Han or whatever. But, he couldn't sense him. It doesn't
What
matter.
did
It
you
doesn't
think
matter.
of Kylo Ren?
I
liked him.
I loved Kylo Ren.
I
Kylo
really-
Ren is second to BB-8. Well, I think Kylo Ren is my favorite character.
Poe and Rey are mine.
It's like Kylo Ren, Poe, BB-8,
Okay.
Rey.
Now, some people had, really quickly on BB-8, some people had concerns that it would be overused or it would be kind of too cutesy or quippy. I think they did a perfect job with BB-8. You got the tone right. We completely, it wasn't too in the way.
It's not Jar Jar Binks.
And
It's
it
not
was-
making fart jokes.
It really differentiated between R2-D2 as well. They served completely different purposes in
Yeah.
a way. I dug it. I really thought that BB-8 was a great inclusion.
I liked BB-8 too a lot, and I think it's rightfully a lovable character. They did it justice, and there was that worry that the toys were going to just be like a fucking money grab,
Yeah.
but it really is just kind of like an integral part of the story and a cute robot with morals and
Yeah,
and
it was
a
great.
heart, and
the
I thought
zap.
that was great.
I thought the zap
The
was
zap,
great.
and I like the thumbs up with the flame.
Oh, fantastic.
It's so good.
And like Chopper in Rebels.
So let's talk about. Can we talk about Han a little bit?
Really want to quickly touch
Okay, go
on, stay on Kylo Ren. The first
Okay.
half of the movie,
Right, sorry.
loved him. This is the first time you're introducing a brand new villain. He comes in here, he stops a blaster bolt.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
I'm absolutely stoked with how that all went down.
Yeah, it
He
looks
was
so cool.
intimidating.
And by the way, that was also our first lens flare in the film. Did you notice that?
Technically, yeah.
So
I
JJ,
wasn't
how he
looking out
goes
for it.
nuts with his fucking lens flares? Well, he promised he was going to take the lens flares down for this one, but I noticed at least 3 or 4.
I wasn't looking at that at all.
That was the first lens flare. Watch out for it if you haven't seen it and you're watching this video. I hate you for allowing us to spoil the whole fucking movie for you, but that laser blast when the
Yeah,
camera kind of
well,
runs
yeah.
past it is the first lens flare.
So that initial opening, Kylo Ren's intimidating.
Beautiful.
Kylo Ren's got powers. He's got the Force. He's like...
His voice is
kill
almost...
them all.
By the way, his voice made me feel like, oh no, Bane. Oh no, Bane! He sounds like Bane! He sounds like Bane! And then, but then I was like, no, it's fine.
You can understand every word
and it's
that he's
scarier.
saying. He was so great.
Yeah.
He actually became less intimidating to me once he removed the mask.
Well,
Then he became an angsty little boy with, like, he reminded me of, like, teenager Snape.
yeah, but you know
for some
what,
reason,
man? Can
at
I tell you
Hogwarts.
something? Can I
Go
tell you
on.
something?
Yeah.
I think Kylo Ren is done the way Anakin should have been done in the prequels.
Yeah.
And they fucked it up. But this is like, because look, man, what we're seeing is a story.
An angsty teen with
He
daddy
is,
issues.
yeah. And what we're seeing is the story of teenagers now. You know?
You know what? You want Han Solo's father? He's just going to disappoint you. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've said that.
Yeah,
you know, like,
yeah,
we've all
yeah.
kind of said that. Haven't we?
I'm curious to see where the character goes, but I was completely into him, especially when he finds out that Rey has Force powers and he runs to Snoke. And Snoke, yeah, and he runs to Snoke, whatever, fucking Snoke, whatever, giant golem,
See, I had a problem with Snoke.
Giant orc from Hobbit.
Yeah, which by Andy Serkis, it was just like, oh, the poor thing's playing another character that looks the same.
You know, just for once, just let Andy Serkis be in the movie.
Yeah.
Why did he need? Okay. I know we don't know who the character is yet.
That's my problem. We should know more about Supreme General Snoke.
Whatever. Where was this guy in the original trilogy? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No, because
it totally does.
There's no point. This is a new story. We're not in charge of it. Let him do it.
He chose Supreme General.
I gotta take this up.
Snoke over his own father and his uncle's training.
Right.
Why?
Well, something happened.
Why was this man able to manipulate and persuade him? How does he tap into the dark side and use that as the bait that lured Kylo Ren?
Well, something happened, obviously,
I wish I knew
and
that.
we're gonna find out. And that, again, that's the problem I have with these like
but no,
MCU
they should have
style
given me
franchises.
enough because now I'm annoyed about it.
Well, I
don't understand the situation enough. He just looks like a little sniveling brat.
What I was more annoyed with Snoke was that we have another fucking fully CGI character for no reason.
I agree.
Unless he's going to transform into something. You know, I don't want to see another Yoda flipping around a whole fucking bunch when eventually we see this guy with a lightsaber, if we do. And
now, we don't agree. He's not that big. That's just his astral
yeah,
projection.
that's my assumption, too. I don't think he's that big.
That's just where they seat him because he's the Supreme
Well,
General.
in Empire, when the Emperor's holocron showed up, he had like a giant head, remember? Like, he shows up as this fucking giant face. So I'm assuming they're kind of going by the same.
Okay, so it's like Captain, Commander, General, Supreme Leader.
Supreme Leader.
How do you get to be Supreme Leader, especially knowing that the Emperor had nothing to do with this guy? It's the first time we're hearing about the Supreme Leader. I just needed a little bit.
Well,
you had so much exposition in the movie. 80% of this movie was exposition.
Exposition.
Why did you ignore his backstory?
Well, I say we give that a little bit of time and see they're obviously trying to establish a rich new story, and I think we should give them the benefit of the doubt with that. Although it is annoying that we now have this culture of films that are relying on several sequels to tell one story, whereas I miss the days when people would make a movie either knowing or assuming this would be the only movie they would make.
There's more clarity in it,
and it just makes it a good 1, 2, 3 act movie. And because of the fact that we knew years ago they were going to make 3 of these new movies, they use that as a way to kind of throw in and pepper in these kind of mystery box things that maybe aren't even necessarily JJ's idea. But the idea of operating on assumptions is maybe too strong here, because when you think about Empire, I believe that's the first time we hear about the Emperor, right? The Emperor's not in A New Hope. No. And we don't know who the Emperor is, and actually we never really find out who the Emperor is either.
But
he's just
Vader
this powerful
was such
Sith Lord.
a strong enough villain that it didn't matter. I kind of feel here we've got 4 villains. We've got General Hux, Supreme Leader Snoke, Captain Phasma, and Kylo Ren. And all of them combined do not bring me the same fear that one Vader did.
Well, now that we're on the subject of the bad guys, I think we should bring up the Starkiller base. Mm-hmm. And I think we should talk about how it's basically Death Star 3. Right? That's
out of, let's say there's only 4 movies. Let's ignore the prequels. Right. Out of 4 movies, there have been 3 Death Stars.
3 Death Stars.
Come on, guys.
These guys are obsessed with the idea of a planet that shoots
I'm in a planet that shoots planet. I get that. I get that it's a weapon that can blow up planets, but you used it so well in A New Hope, where you eliminated Leia's entire
Right, it was
planet
something we had never seen before.
as a form of interrogation. Yeah. But now it's like, oh, we're just going to blow up 5. Boom, 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 boom. There they go. There wasn't the same depth behind it. There wasn't that same.
But I also. More importantly, thematically, I feel like there was already a reason. Like, I get that the Starkiller base is supposed to be a more intimidating version of the Death Star.
I mean, it's bigger and it does more, but it's the same. You got to go down the ventilation system, or it's the same.
It almost seemed like, really, when they were talking about their plan. Oh, it looks like there's a vent there.
And they even
I'm
say
like, oh,
well,
no.
that's what we've done twice before. What do you know? We'll do it again.
Well, look, I mean,
this is an empire.
But I think
this is the First Order. They should have one other thing.
I think this goes along with the idea of safety we talked about earlier.
It is,
and I think it goes along with the idea of, if you're going to kind of go almost by the numbers and make A New Hope again, which is kind of what they've done, if you're going to create that familiarity subconsciously, then you kind of have to have this ultimate weapon that is like the Death Star, in order to thematically make you feel like you're watching A New Hope upgraded. You know what I mean?
I don't feel like we've seen, since A New Hope, the real purpose, the driving force behind the Starkiller base. Why it's so important. Why this is the only option. I don't feel like they used the eliminating planets to its effectiveness enough. Like, that countdown was going on, and then they sucked the sun out, and that was your indication that, it's going to blow up that planet. I didn't feel that suspense at all. I wasn't gripping onto the end of my seat.
I mean, it was exactly like when they had that little Death Star schematic in A New Hope, and it's like 10 seconds to destruction of Yavin or whatever. And
that was like gripping.
It
compelling.
Was. Well.
Once.
It is kind of disheartening that they use the same device again, but...
They've got 4 villains. They've got a First Order. They did this Nazi-esque huge speech.
Yeah, it's like... And then they even did their, like, yeah, with their arms.
Mass pillaging. There's so many things that you could do. I just wish that they'd...
I mean... So that's where they went with it.
Yes.
And that's what we have to be satisfied with. So I get that it's an intimidation tactic for the story, and thematically it's supposed to kind of give you this feeling of intense fear of the First Order and how powerful they are, and how the Resistance has like basically nothing, and how they're just a rogue group of like X-wing fighter pilots and a couple of generals, and a general and a couple of captains or whatever.
Do you know what else would have been cool?
What?
If they literally had the plans of the Death Star, and then they put the plans of the Starkiller base over it, just to signify how much bigger it was.
Well, they did do that. Remember that? They showed, like, this is what Death Star 3 was, and this is the Starkiller base, and it showed how much bigger it was than the Death Star.
They did exactly what I've suggested, and I would do a great job if I couldn't even remember.
So here's what I want to say about it. Whatever, it's in there. There's nothing we can do about it. Like it or not, it's there.
Yes.
So, in my opinion, I don't think you even needed it. Like, this is me kind of speaking to the filmmakers now, I feel like. If it's used thematically as intimidation, the First Order was already scary as fuck without it. Honestly, I was terrified of the First Order, even when Finn is escaping the Starkiller base. Yeah. Were they on the Starkiller base with Poe in the beginning? Yeah.
Yeah. And it was knowing every move. It was unlocking new weaponry to try and shoot them. It was chasing them down.
Yeah, and just the TIE fighters even seemed more like vicious this time around, and the stormtroopers felt less like, bumbling.
They were hitting.
They were hitting. Yeah, nice work, guys.
You got your aim up. No, they were actually really intimidating this time around.
Yeah, and I don't think
we've got a new
affiliation
with Stormtroopers, knowing one of the characters under the helmet for the first time.
Well, and I get the idea that like it's supposed to be that the First Order is in a way better place than the Resistance.
Yes.
But I honestly feel like you already nailed that with their massive starships the shadow covered the entire planet in the beginning, which was beautiful.
I love the new ships. I love the new
ships
TIE
are great.
Fighters.
I don't think you needed the Starkiller base.
Do you know what I think
at all.
The First Order should have done, which they started to, as we were talking about in the beginning? One of the most frightening things that a villain can do is know the person's every move.
Right.
That absolute surveillance. So anytime you think you're escaping, or that you're going somewhere else, or that you're hidden and that you're free, and they know where you are, and they can taunt you by knowing where you are.
Yeah.
I wish they'd done that, but it wasn't. It's like the giant that's trying to stomp his foot to get the smaller thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's different scare tactics out there.
So okay, so I loved Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. Now that we're there, and
How was that moment for you? Father, will you help me? Predictable.
I mean,
so predictable.
So I will say that it was predictable from the moment Leia was like, "I hate saying goodbye to you." And I was like, oh no.
I think it was predictable the moment that I found out that Harrison Ford was really upset that he didn't die in A New Hope.
Well, we've known that for years.
Exactly.
We've known that for a very long time.
And as soon as he signed on to The Force Awakens, I'm like, he's getting the death he always wanted.
But the thing that sucks the most about it is that he did such a good job. He did such a good job. This is what I want to say about Harrison Ford. Mm-hmm. He seemed to be phoning it in when we saw him in A Crystal Skull. And honestly, that was 7 years ago.
Wow.
Crystal Skull was 7 years ago. Whoa. And in The Force Awakens, he's running around like a kid again.
Yeah.
And he's like...
Him and that bowcaster. Can we just give a shout out one time to that
cool.
new bowcaster?
Yeah, Chewie's upgraded bowcaster.
Woo!
And I just feel
Chewie
like...
in a general. Oh my God, he's so great. A hound throwaway line. I think Chewie's really starting to like you. I mean, that kind of stuff is great.
Well, and I love Chewie's like his it's Chewie back again.
And like honestly, shot. I mean, I like that there's injuries.
Yeah. I feel like the two, maybe even Han and Chewie in this film might be the best return of beloved characters in any movie ever.
Uh-huh.
Like, I think...
Those two together, it feels like home.
Right.
Yeah.
When they bring back beloved characters in a new way, you're always like, oh, it's not the same, or like, I don't know how I feel about this. But, like...
Those two they've got it.
They slipped right back into their roles. Harrison Ford fucking nailed it.
I'm going to tell you...
It was Han... We were not watching Harrison Ford. We were watching Han fucking Solo. Yeah. That was Han Solo... Literally, like, we had not left him from Return of the Jedi. And that, I fucking way appreciated it.
So when we first saw the Millennium Falcon, first feeling is, whoa, why doesn't Han and Chewie have the Millennium Falcon?
And I love that. I love that.
And then when they got captured, I was like, that's First Order. They're so screwed. Seeing those two, I wanted to ask you, what was your cheer and what was your jeer moment in the film? For me, it was
jeer.
Yeah, it was opening those blaster doors and having Han and Chewie there. I was like a little girl and I squealed. I was like, yay!
I had an idea that it was going to be Han and Chewie.
I didn't. They got me on that.
I can tell you what my jeer was.
Yeah.
My cheer must have been... The most, like, goosebumpy moment for me was when fucking Rey got the lightsaber in her hand.
Right.
When she took the lightsaber. When you think Kylo is fucking...
And it zips past him?
Yeah, and it goes right past him to fucking Rey. And you're like,
yeah! Yeah, I love that. Do you know what else I loved?
What?
I mean, I know it was a sad moment. It was when Rey came back to Leia knowing that Han had passed away.
Yeah.
And Leia and Leia's
but hold on a second.
No,
yeah,
I know.
I know, but hold on a second.
Leia's theme.
I know, but hold on. Like, she comes to embrace Rey. Ugh, I know. By the way, who are you? They had never fucking met before! What the fuck is she hugging her like it's her daughter or some shit?
Because it's her!
No, because nothing! She's never met her!
Isn't it her niece?
We don't know. There's no fucking... Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, if that's true, then okay, maybe. But why didn't she fucking say something?
No one said anything about her relationship.
Han's dead. By the way, I'm General Organa or whatever, and my name's Rey. No. If you don't fucking know who that person is, you don't hold them like they're your lover, Like,
I don't know if you noticed, but when the first thing that you said when it was like, Han's dead, you said, I know.
Oh, no!
You did.
Bad mod.
You said that.
Bad mod.
Just said it.
Oh, wait, just right now? Oh, right now. Okay,
Let's
whatever.
Go back to that
that's not what I meant, though, but that's funny. I thought you were saying how funny would it be if that's what they said in the movie.
No!
Han's dead. I know. Okay, so here's my jeer moment. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Did we fucking... Did we...
Wait.
Hold on. Give me this shit.
Yeah.
Did we fucking need... Oh, dear Neil deGrasse Tyson. Did we fucking need the fucking tentacle creature scene?
Oh.
Did we need the fucking tentacle creature scene?
It actually reminded me of an episode of Farscape. on the ship of Moya.
Or fucking Fringe, or fucking X-Files, or fucking Galaxy Quest, or fucking any other low-rent...
It did feel like an episode of a sci-fi TV show.
It felt like an episode of a sci-fi TV show.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute, am I watching a new Star Trek movie, or am I watching fucking Star Wars?!
That did feel the least like Star Wars out of this whole movie.
What I did like, though...
Just do it, though.
What I did like, though...
Oh my gosh, and your head blows open, it's that thing.
I'm the tentacle guy! What I did like, though, was the fact that Han was back to being a smuggler.
Yes.
And I like that he had these two fucking guys. It was basically the Greedo scene 2.0, where he had the two guys coming for their money. Yeah. And I loved Han going like, look, I've got your money. And the guy's like, where's our money? And he's like... Like, I loved that, but then you got the fucking, like, tentacle guys, and, like, they're grabbing dudes, and, like, why didn't it kill Finn if it killed the other guys right away?
It was
I don't fucking care. I don't care. I don't care. I didn't need that scene. That was the only scene I really fucking didn't like. That was the one thing where I was like, oh, no, am I going to be bored in a Star Wars movie?
Another thing where I get a little, and I do get over analytical, and it is because I'm so invested in it, and I do think I am being critical, and I'm not apologizing for it. It's just because my expectations were so high, and now I'm reading into things. So as I understand, Luke, as the last Jedi, started training Force-sensitive people, and of course, Han and Leia's kid, Ben Solo, was Force-sensitive.
Yeah, so he must have been a part of that.
He was getting trained by Luke, and went, you know what? No. I know that Vader is my grandfather. I want to turn to the dark side and be as powerful as him. And he destroyed the academy. Now, from that, Han and Leia split up. She went back into the government or general sort of side of things. And Han went back to being a smuggler because they couldn't take how Ben ran away and did that.
Or maybe he did something terrible.
And
something
Luke, who had a whole academy training the last of the Jedi, was so upset that Ben Solo destroyed the academy that he went into hiding. That's one of the more interesting things about it, Star Wars, what we're going through now. That's the exposition we got a taste of. That's what should have been the focus. We should have known a little bit more about that.
Maybe,
because it doesn't make sense.
Maybe.
And why is Rey on Jakku? No one's coming back for her. She's been completely forgotten about. Yet, Luke's saber is drawing and calling her name.
Well, everybody, after the premiere, I went into the lobby and was talking to some movie review friends and some other friends that were at the premiere as well. And we were kind of talking about how that's definitely Luke Skywalker's daughter or something, like, you know. And I think it's like it probably Rey probably is Luke Skywalker's daughter. But my thought is like, can't it not be? Wouldn't it be better if she's not Luke Skywalker's daughter and there's something new and there's something like, because we already got Han's son or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do we also need Luke to have a kid that's also like there? Like,
I know. I want her to fall in love with him in a weird, twisted way.
Or maybe she's like a Mara Jade or something. But
it's
or
the
like,
Romeo and Juliet kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's more interesting than Finn being like, hold my hand. I think I've got a crush on you. I have a boner. Whoop.
Yeah, well, I'm okay with that stuff. Like, that's just whatever. This is just all of it's stuff we're gonna have to fucking deal with because that's what it is. But
that's what it is.
Since nothing has really been set in stone yet, unless the directors have already made up their minds who Rey is, I would prefer it if Rey has no affiliation to Luke and is just some Force-sensitive person.
But she sounds like she's almost the new chosen one.
It could be, and she's definitely more powerful. She's definitely more powerful than Luke was.
What did that flashback tell you? You saw Luke putting the plans in R2, which we found out by the end of the movie that he had the missing piece. But
we saw the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
All in the rain, like killing Jedi, presumably.
But her as a little 3-year-old or 4-year-old little girl.
Yeah, screaming and some starship went away. There. I mean, I think that's on purpose and whatever. That's all part of that fucking. What? But I do think that, like, if we get some new exciting storylines, then I'm on board. But if
there's just so many ways that this can go. I don't feel like there was any closure. The only thing that really happened was that Kylo Ren took the next step into following the path of darkness because he killed his father. Yeah. Out of everything, that's the only thing that was kind of seen and dealt with. Because
in Jedi, the Emperor was like, your final move to joining the dark side is killing your father.
Yeah.
But
everything else is still so open.
I did like that moment though where you saw Kylo Ren kind of like genuinely not sure if he could do it.
I loved that. I thought that was absolutely great.
Yeah, because then it showed that there was a little light in him still.
And they used that to try and say that, you know, he was going to be vulnerable to his father, but it just...
Right, and even Snoke said that, like, I think there's too much good in him, and there's confusion.
So then why is he trying to be bad? He's got a supportive family. Han and Leia sent him away to Luke to train, and he was like, Dad sent me to boarding camp, and I'm going to wreck the convertible now.
I think we're going to get Luke training
Right.
Kylo Ren. Or I think we're going to get flashbacks of Luke training Kylo Ren and them being good friends, and something happens.
Right.
And then...
That should have happened in this movie, don't you think?
Maybe. I mean, there's probably too... That's too much. We got to set up new characters first.
It's like there was so much exposition, but not enough. There's so many avenues, but where are they going?
My theory is that something's going to happen. Kylo Ren's going to kill all of Luke's pupils and all of, like, Luke's hopeful new Jedis. And it's going to make Luke feel so bad. Maybe there's a decision Luke made that caused Ben to turn. Right. Maybe there's something Luke did inadvertently that causes Ben to lose his shit. It seems like he's got a real bad temper.
He's a sullen little teenager.
And so, which is a great dash of Han Solo that he has in him, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's going to cause Luke to just feel so bad about being the cause of death of all these Jedis. That's what puts him into full Ben Kenobi mode, where he goes to hide at the Jedi Temple or whatever. But one thing I want to say really quick that also really bothered me in the movie, other than the fucking stupid tentacle monster scene, was...
I didn't mind it. It reminded me of Farscape. And
Brett, what were your thoughts on the tentacle monster moment?
I liked the lead up to it.
Yeah, me too.
I liked the reveal. Well, no, I didn't like the reveal. Was just the disappointing part.
Right.
But
and when he's like, when they ask, like, what is a Gothar or whatever the fuck they're called, and then Han's like, that. The thing in the window looked like the worst CGI I'd ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, I just wish it was a little maybe just a different creature design.
Maybe the creature design was stupid. It looked like those things.
Didn't feel part of the Star Wars universe.
It looked like that thing in Monsters Inc., that pink furry thing with all the tentacles that you see walking around Monsters Inc.
Let's cut to a clip.
It's that poop guy, isn't it? The guy with the dick and balls. So here's the other thing that bothered me was, so Rey and Finn tell Han that this droid
is wanted by the First Order and has something for that the Resistance must have.
No, they flat out said it has the map to Luke Skywalker.
Right.
And Han is like, oh shit, this is probably a big deal. Should
keep this on the low
Should
down.
keep it down low. Let's go to the most popular bar in the galaxy
and then
in broad daylight and go
view.
through the longest entrance through all of the most disgusting scoundrel
and
creatures.
And then Han Solo's like, Han Solo!
Yeah.
With a BB-8 droid!
Is that a BB-8 with plans in it? Like, there isn't...
Like,
yeah. First of all...
Straight away! Well, to the Resistance. They're
Who
here.
the
Straight
fuck?
away to the First Order. They're here.
The fuck wrote Han Solo to be the biggest fucking idiot in the world?
Han Solo ran out of fucks to give, man. That's what happened.
No, man. Han Solo has a heart.
Pocket and he's like, no,
he brought BB-8 out in broad daylight, and so I'm thinking, he must have a plan or something. No, the First Order comes and murders everyone. Everyone in that bar dies, except for probably Pineapple Face. What's her name? Maz Kanata with the pineapple eye. Like, honestly, it looked like a pineapple. She looked like a pineapple upside down cake. Do you know what a pineapple upside down cake looks like?
No.
Let's cut to a clip of a pineapple upside down cake and put those goggles on a pineapple upside down cake, and that's what Maz Kanata looked like.
I think she was one of my favorite new introduced characters that was CGI. Because she can look at someone in the eyes and know so much about them.
I mean, whatever. They want a new Yoda.
She's over
and
1,000 years old. She had this entire establishment that not only was as fun as the Cantina / Jabba's Palace, but then
no, it wasn't as fun as the Cantina.
It wasn't at all.
It was like Jabba's Palace.
And it was an African.
It was like a reggae
and they were
song.
trying to be the Mos Eisley
This is
Cantina
the new
band,
Cantina music.
and
It's just a B-side from a Bob Marley album that they're playing.
Agree. And there's literally a black chick up the back with the bongos. And I was like, oh guys, the racial stereotypes that you have from the prequels, you're doing it again.
But just the idea that, like, it's Han's fault that all of these fucking innocent creatures die,
Yeah.
and then he doesn't give a shit, and they just hightail
No, he's
it.
like, gosh, I really like this bow cut.
Yeah, oh man, I had so much fun shooting stormtroopers. Han, you killed everyone there, and you destroyed that 1,000-year-old bar or whatever.
And everything underneath. And I know
Those
that
treasures.
she was getting called by the lightsaber, and she was getting this thing a lot like, Luke in the temple, in the Yoda's cave on Dagobah, blah, blah, blah. There was like that kind of parallel thing happening. But I don't know, I thought that was a little out of place.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, I don't want anything to do with that. It's like, no, your family has been missing your entire life. This is giving you answers and you're afraid?
I mean, whatever. That's just one of those like stereotypical character trait things where they have to have that moment of denial, and they're like, "Oh, I need to run off, and I don't know what to do." That got her out into the woods
because
for fucking
she even said,
Ren to
"I
come.
know your look. You've known this whole time your family is not coming
But
back."
I could not believe that they made Han so stupid. Like, I'm telling you, man. Even in like TV shows.
Hold on, this guy gambles with people's stuff. He's in debt to everyone. He's a bit of a dropkick.
I mean, but like, he's never been as careless as this.
That's true.
And he was like a general, man. He was a general!
He got a princess knocked up.
He was a general! And a general is gonna take the most wanted droid in the galaxy in broad daylight into a bar? No!
And
So
I
anyway,
thought it was a bit of a waste, that entire thing. We can never go back to this place again. It was one of my favorite places in the galaxy, and it's gone
The
now.
Mandalorian flag was cool, though.
Yeah,
and
but
like,
what?
some of the creatures
we
were
picked that
cool.
apart, and then what? Where did that come from?
I like the
have no idea what the
mosquito
robot-
guys. I like the little puppet that came out to like say weird shit to BB-8 in the desert on Jakku.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fun stuff. I like the big walking elephant creature that
that
the
was
scavenger
drinking?
guy was trying to get. The drinking pig thing with the butt was cool. Simon Pegg's character was okay.
Right? Yeah, I liked that.
And the fact that the Falcon belonged to someone else, just so cool because it connects kind of like the old, expanded universe stuff where the Falcon belonged to so many people before it got to Han.
And it keeps getting bet and won.
I love that. I'm into that. And I'm into the idea that Rey is kind of like the new pilot of the Millennium Falcon.
She's the new Luke Skywalker.
I'm okay with it. In fact, but there was a point where I was like, that would be cool if Finn and Chewie are the new Han and Chewbacca. Like Finn saves Chewie's life, and so Chewie owes Finn a life debt or something.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I thought too.
The life debt was never addressed in canon, was it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But Han dying, all I could think of was like, oh no, Chewie's life debt. What does it mean?
He's gonna go back to
But I
Kashyyyk?
love that Chewie went apeshit and shot Kylo Ren. I thought that was fucking
Loved
badass.
that.
Chewie shot a fucking Sith Lord.
Yeah.
That is fucking rad, man. Chewie is a
like
badass.
affecting him in the battle. Like,
Yeah,
he's
in the battle.
punching
He
it.
kept punching his wound and the blood was coming out. I love it. He loves pain and he's just
Well,
this...
he needs pain and anger to fuel the dark side. That's what he's taught.
The other thing... Oh, man.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more kind of like little problems I had too is like Finn was like a fucking pro at a lightsaber and he probably had never touched any weapon like that
See,
ever.
that I would understand if he was a soldier through and through. Like if he had been trained in the art of all type of combat, including hand-to-hand and sword combat, because that other stormtrooper had
I guess he did have that
whippy
thing.
kind of
That's
thing,
true. That's true.
That would make sense. But because he was like, oh, I don't know, I've never seen this before. It's like, you're a fucking stormtrooper.
And then he goes in and he's like,
your whole life.
I mean, the fact that Rey knew what to do made more sense because she was using that staff as her main weapon for a while.
Yeah. I don't know. I just kind of thought that Finn needed to be way more street smart with battle strategies, formation plans, all that kind of stuff. Even like during running through the base layout where they're looking for him for answers, and he gets there and he's like, I was in sanitation.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, he was a janitor.
you have been like
He was
for
basically
your
a
whole
janitor.
life. So if anyone's got a blocked toilet, you're like, oh, have I got this one?
So, but does that mean if he was in sanitation that he wasn't trained in the ways of being a stormtrooper?
I'm not gonna lie, I think that might have been his first battle. I think that was his first actual action.
Right, and he just
Yeah.
saw it for the first time.
So,
and he
okay.
couldn't hack it.
He's like shell shocked, basically.
So he instantly became shell-shocked, but maybe he never trained as a stormtrooper? But they threw him into battle right
It
away?
should have been really clear.
They weren't super clear, but I think that was his first.
Well, even if that's true, if he was in sanitation, why would they send him out onto a battle on Jakku?
The guy should have zero personality because he's a human robot.
Whatever, let's forget about that stuff. Let's talk about our favorite shots. Do you remember your favorite shots? Because I know all of them.
Oh, you go first then.
The blaster
Yes.
in midair.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite shots. The TIE fighters on the horizon with the heat waves underneath them
yes.
as they came onto the horizon.
Yep.
And by the way, you know what we didn't get from the trailer was that shot of the X-wings all flying over the water.
I know.
We didn't
Where
get
was
that.
that?
It must have been when they first show up, when the First Order first comes, and then
They
you're like,
cut that
"There's
scene?
fucking Poe Dameron. He's been fucking." By the way, you were the one that was like, Poe was like loved BB-8, and suddenly it's like, "Oh hey, bro, I'm alive. Just kidding, bro.
I will find you. I will find you. Run now. I will come back for you.
Yeah, no, never mind. I got shit to do."
You're saving the resistance. Oh, there you
Yeah.
are. Good on you, little buddy. You're on a different planet. Don't know how you got here. Don't really care.
Well, he must have heard that BB-8 was okay, and he was just like, "All right, he'll
Didn't
find his way
make
back."
sense.
But I love that shot, and then I also loved the shots of Rey and Kylo with the lightsabers like held together, and in their eyes you could see the lightsaber
Yeah.
blades. Oh,
I actually liked the
shots.
use of the cross
Beautiful
guard
shots.
using for a decapitation because there's
Amazing.
so many times in lightsaber combat where you're like this and it's a struggle. All he has to do is slide it up and he can literally cut someone's neck.
Well, and I
was like,
love that he got
"Genius."
Finn with it too when he was like pulling the cross guard into Finn's arm.
Yeah,
that was cool.
That was great. And there were actual injuries. He got swiped up the back. We saw Kylo Ren last with a big gash up his face.
Also,
Rey didn't get a scratch.
no, she's fine. She's fine.
She must have
you know what's funny
pushed
too,
all
though?
the pain off her or whatever.
The other thing that I thought was kind of like movie magic, but I forgot about it right away because the rest was fucking cool. Was when when Poe and Finn crashed the TIE fighter on Jakku. They're both fine. They crashed a TIE fighter fully. The fucking thing was destroyed, but they're fine. Couple of scratches. Poe's been all right.
Were there no track marks where he
I don't know. Who
would have
cares?
left? Because
By the way, what did I miss as far as the TIE fighter sinking into the sand? Was that like a monster or something? Or was
no,
it...
Rey mentioned it before when BB-8 was there. She goes, "Don't go north because there's sand that'll swallow you whole."
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Done with that one.
Sweet.
So, look, I enjoyed the movie.
I enjoyed the movie.
I thought it was a fantastic return to the Star Wars universe. It corrected the wrongs of the prequels for me.
Which is what I had to do. My expectations were too high, and that's on me.
I honestly think it might even be a better movie than Return of the Jedi.
Take that back.
No.
No.
Honestly, if you put at least similar, at least on
Do you
the
know
same
what I
levels.
missed, which we didn't get in this movie?
Go ahead.
No on-ground artillery. No AT-ATs except for a skeletal
We saw
frame.
the one that
no
was
ATST.
we saw the destroyed
I
one.
missed that. That to me is Star Wars. That is the formation. I know it's the First Order and not the Empire, but goddamn.
Well, I
throw
don't
in
think
an
they needed it.
AT-ST.
They didn't need it because they had their fucking Star Killer thing. They could just destroy the whole fucking planet. They didn't have to spend money on all-terrain vehicles.
I missed it.
But I think it's comparable at least to Return of the Jedi. Because when you look at Jedi and you look at how silly as fuck that movie is, and there's so much silly bullshit, like Jabba's palace has silly shit, the fucking droid that's like, no, and the fucking heat things go down on its leg, and you get the fucking Sarlacc pit burping and shit.
That
the
whole thing
Ewoks,
was
whatever.
perfect.
All that stuff is like wacky and fun
You're
or
talking
whatever.
about my favorite movie here.
I love Jedi, dude.
It's my
I
favorite.
love
It's
it.
not the best Star Wars movie, that's Empire, but my favorite
Yeah.
is Return of the Jedi.
Well, I honestly feel like my new order of Star Wars movies is Empire, Force Awakens, Jedi, A New Hope. I think that's where I'm at.
The 3OT is still number one for me.
Well, so in what order though?
Favorite or best?
In what order from favorite? From the-
6547, 321, 312.
Oh God, you even put the prequels in there? You put the prequels in there?
All the Star Wars movies.
6547. Okay, so yours is similar to mine. So like New Hope is my least favorite. I don't even count the prequels. The prequels are just like a mistake. The prequels are a shit stain on the underwear of Star Wars.
I am so excited for more of these. I'm actually more excited now to know what Rogue One's all about. Rogue Squadron? What is
Yeah,
it?
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must
Give
be.
me some of that. Give me some Bothans, motherfucker.
Well, we don't have to wait too long because we're gonna get a new movie every year,
Yeah.
and I think next is Rogue One, and
Yeah.
I think after that is the
Episode
Han
8.
movie or Episode 8, and then the Han movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, anxious to see what they're up to. Who's directing Episode 8?
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson.
Isn't it?
Loved Looper. If it's not Ryan Johnson, it's Colin Trevorrow.
The guy who directed Jurassic World.
Colin Trevorrow.
The ninth.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, he's
Directing
doing the last
nine.
one. Oh, okay, so Ryan Johnson's
Oh.
doing
Who's doing
8.
Who's doing Rogue One? That was supposed to be Josh Trank, and then that tanked.
No, Josh, he was gonna do the Boba Fett. It was like one that wasn't announced yet, but they kicked him off.
Glad Brett's here.
Well, anyway, Brett, what are your thoughts, man? How'd you like the movie?
The movie? I'm kind of in the same boat. I really enjoyed the just the return to that kind of like feeling and like and I know why they did what they had to do and be safe, because they didn't want to alienate anybody.
Right.
They wanted, the biggest net possible to say, hey, here's Star Wars. Remember us?
Yeah.
But at the same time, they a lot of cool new characters. They hinted at a lot of really cool things that I want to see now.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not going to get to see for another 2 years, which is sad. But like I want to know all about that Jedi Academy and like
same, and the Jedi Temple and
I want more of that stuff. More
should have had more of those.
Well, and also we can talk about that final shot really quick, because Patton Oswalt was saying that's the best final shot in any Star Wars movie, which I actually might happen to agree with. As far as like final shots in the films go, I kind of agree. The final shot of A New Hope is the big celebration. The final shot of Empire is looking out the viewport.
It's always a big celebration, really.
Well, no, at the
isn't
end
it?
of Empire is the viewport of Lando and Chewie going off to save Han.
Yeah.
And then the end of Jedi is
Celebration.
everyone clapping like
End
idiots.
of Phantom Menace.
Well, fuck
celebration.
those movies, man. Who cares about the ends of those? But I will say the end of this one was that beautiful helicopter shot just spinning around
The whole time
Rey and
I was
Luke.
like, that's the island off Ireland. That's near Scotland or Ireland or somewhere.
Oh, well, it doesn't
Because I
matter.
was following so much of this movie that it just took it away from me, which is my bad. That's all on me.
Yeah, it's all on you.
Yeah.
I was into it. I can't wait to see it again. I'm seeing it. In fact, I've already seen it again by this point.
Hey, cool.
So hopefully I get more
I want
of
to
the
see it
second
again.
viewing.
Yeah, I think things will change.
I'm ready to see it 3D IMAX.
Yeah, nice. That'll be fun.
Because the one I saw was regular. It was 2D.
All right, it's coming down to this. You ready?
All right, let's do it.
What's your score out of 10?
We weren't able to do this on the new movie thing show here, but I'm going to give it a half score.
Oh, yeah, no
I'm
halves.
giving it,
Absolutely. I was even going to throw a 3/4 in.
I'm going 8.5.
I'm going 7.5.
Yeah?
Yeah.
8.5 is my final score for The Force Awakens.
Not bad. 7.5. I was right there. The first half of the movie was a lot better than the second half of the movie for me, but I think they are trying to do a lot. They are casting a wide net, and
Yes,
they're showing
they are.
the direction of where it's going to go. I'm just looking forward to being scared by a villain and not the CGI.
I stand by my original tweet, which was that I think this is the movie fans have been waiting 30 plus years for. This is the movie. This completely negates the prequels for me. I think
And that's
this
all
is
it
the
needed to
film that erases the prequels, continues the saga of the original trilogy, and that's all I've ever wanted as a Star Wars
and it's
fan.
happening now.
And it's succeeded, and I'm excited for what's next.
Yeah, and good on the Stormtroopers from being able to aim and to be
They're back.
being a lot ruthless.
Yeah, that should have been the first order of business. Aim, right? The first order must have been aim. Oh, snap!
Thank you so much
All
for
right.
our review. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? If you do disagree with us, that's okay. We're all allowed our own opinions. Just
Yeah.
don't be a dick about it.
Please don't be a
And
dick.
put
I mean,
your
or
ratings
be a
in.
dick, but you're going to be blocked probably.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be banned.
And, put your scores down below as well.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your
more
scores.
8.5, more 7.5. Brett?
I'm at 8.5 too.
8.5, cool, man.
B plus.
Good. Yeah, B+. And I will say, for those of you that heard kind of our biggest problems with this movie, I'd love to hear you debate kind of against our feelings. Like, I'd love to hear your answers as to why the fuck Han would bring BB-8 in broad daylight into a bar, and why Finn and fucking Poe survived a TIE fighter crash, and why Rey has the Force so powerfully right out of nowhere.
Or are we just supposed to have our blinders on and not question everything and just lap it up?
But
like
that's
a lot
not
of
the
us?
point of being nerds. Nerds are supposed to nitpick everything, and that's what we're doing. We still love it, but we just want to pick it apart and put it back together again. Like when you took your dad's flashlight apart and he beat you for it. So is that just me, or?
We might be back again in January to talk more things Star Wars. Until then, have a Merry, Merry Christmas and enjoy the Force.
And may the Force Fed be with you.
Hello, I'm a white American male.
And I'm not.
Correct.
And I'm nothing.
No, you are a vagina. We've got a brand new comedy channel coming to you called Nuclear Family.
We are taking over the For Human People's channel.
Okay.
Big fat fatty.
No! No! No!
What are you doing?
You can expect that every week on the Nuclear Family channel, so go subscribe, goddammit.
We're about to go into some sort of fun Star Wars event that we were invited to last minute.
The fact that they didn't call it the Kylo Ren Den has me really upset.
Kylo Ren Den.
In an interview with Vanity Fair, he says that the success of the first Star Wars films were because he was experimenting.